This week on TORC Unleashed, the fastest off-road machines on the planet descend upon ELDORA Speedway for one epic night of racing. Do these drivers have what it takes to wrestle this track, all the while battling against an unforgiving Mother Nature? Then, we tag along with pro snowboarder turned motorhead, Nick Baumgartner, as he gears up for the second stop of the Traxxas Off-Road Championship Series here in New Weston, Ohio. And later, the folks over at BF Goodrich give us the inside scoop on what makes their tires a step above the rest. And finally, as the green flag flies, the war wages on inside the track of ELDORA Speedway as our drivers battle their way towards the checkered flag. All this and more next on TORC Unleashed.
Hey race fans, I'm Kelly Snyder and welcome to TORC Unleashed. We're here for the second stop of the Traxxas Off-Road Championship at ELDORA Speedway in New Weston, Ohio. But before we get to this high-octane racing, let's first check in with our race teams to see the new challenges they'll face here at ELDORA.
We are in ELDORA Speedway in Ohio. It's a track like we haven't run before. It's an oval track, we've run those before, but normally we go to the infield.
On this particular track, the difference is there's no infield. It doesn't ever go into the infield. Most tracks are like a horseshoe, and this one's just run the oval with some jumps built onto it.
Just different than what we're used to. We got a circle track, so it's a banked oval. It's the fastest half-mile oval, and we've never been to an oval track before and ran like an actual oval course. Usually they cut it and make it a horseshoe or something like that.
As the clouds above ELDORA Speedway continue to rain down, the racers and their teams continually change their strategy for tonight's big race.
Tires are going to be very, very crucial. Gearing, traction's going to be where it's at, and making tires last. Because we're not used to, usually if you have a big track like Crandon or something, you hit a couple turns and you have a long straight, which allows the tires to cool a little bit. Here, you're constantly on the tire. So we've been doing a lot of testing and trying to figure out what we're doing.
If you're going through mud, you typically run a deeper groove to clear that mud out and dig down in that dirt. A lot of times you want to add some preload to the springs to get the truck to ride higher, because all that mud will stick to the truck and it'll add a lot of weight to it, so that's something to consider.
I could say easily 1,000 pounds of mud. I mean, it really adds up. It depends, you try to add plastic here, aluminum here to keep the mud from building up in spots, where it really likes to build up. And the more you can do there, hopefully won't stick as bad. The less weight you can keep on the truck, the easier it is to drive, and the better it's going to work for you.
But yeah, it's a challenge when you go from a well-known track, and the ones that we have the setups in our books from the past couple of years. We know the tire pressures, we know the cuts, and we know the setup on the suspension and the gears and the converters to run, and you come to one like this and it's a whole new ball game.
There's no windshield, there's a screen. So anything bigger than probably about that is going to hit the driver and go through. It's designed to keep the rocks out, but not the mud. Because if it's too tight a screen, the mud will build up and you won't be able to see anything. The driver has to run a lot of tear-offs. That's something, because you're going to be going through a ton of tear-offs. A tear-off is basically a thin piece of plastic that goes over your shield, and it has a tab off the side, and they're layered, and you grab the front tab, hopefully, and peel just one off. and then you have all the other ones underneath it. So it's like having just going from mud covered to a brand new helmet. It's pretty cool feeling when you get to do it.
So it's going to be a challenge for driver, crew, and spotters. I think there's going to be some fiberglass flying on this one.
It's going to be a lot of rubbing for sure, because people are going to be sliding, and it's going to be carnage, I think. It's going to be fun.
Next on TORC Unleashed, we follow pro snowboarder and off-road driver Nick Baumgartner as he gears up for tonight's big race. Can this Olympic medalist grab his first off-road podium tonight? We'll find out. And later, we go behind the scenes with BF Goodrich to find out what it takes to put these tires on the top of the box. And finally, an army of drivers invade ELDORA Speedway for a muddy slugfest that's not to be missed. All coming up on TORC Unleashed. TORC Unleashed is brought to you by Amsoil, Cooper Tires, and by Oakley.
Hi, I'm Kelly Snyder, and welcome back to TORC Unleashed. As you wander through the pits here at the racetrack, you'll quickly learn that each driver has their very own unique story. And that couldn't be more true for Olympic medalist and professional snowboarder, Nick Baumgartner.
So this racetrack belongs to Andy Zipper, who drives the number 76 Pro Buggy and a Pro 2. And I met him doing some practice in the Sportsman Series, and he gave me this opportunity to drive this truck, which I'm stoked to do. I'm pretty lucky to be just a small town kid from the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, driving a pro race truck. My name is Nick Baumgartner. I drive the number 12 Pro Light. I'm a professional snowboarder. I drive in a stadium super truck. I do about anything you can do that's crazy, and I'm a big dumb animal. So me communicating with my mechanic, it's a little different because I'm new to it, and I'm really trying to learn what's going on with the truck. The hardest thing for me is when they ask me a question, what's happening out there? And when I say I don't know, it's the worst thing for me. So I'm really trying to get to the communication part where, hey, tell me a little something. Just tell me anything about the truck, and then we'll work with it. And through doing that, it's amazing how quick you learn what's going on, and then you start asking questions by the feedback that you gave him. You start asking questions to other drivers, to other crew chiefs, and it's a pretty good environment around here with all the people. So we're learning, and the communication's getting better every day, which is making us more dangerous out there because we're getting faster every time.
That's what makes it tough sometimes. Communicate between him and the truck. Talk about ADD.
I got it!
Poster child. Right?
So what happened is, I was driving around turn number 1, and oh man, I wish I could go for a bike ride. Squirrel! I like race trucks. Snowboarding's fun. Gotta be able to joke around. Keep everyone lighthearted. Make sure this is on real tight, because one Mr. Brad Lovell, he likes to run into me. Well, he did once. Just in case, you never know. Just kidding.
So there's 13 trucks out there. I mean, they're all trying to get to the front, and a lot of them want to get there right away. So the track's going to be slick. They're all going to be getting together. Hopefully I can keep Nick's head and get him to pick his way through slowly and let the carnage happen and go from there.
So the track here at ELDORA Speedway it's an oval and it's banked, so you're going to have to keep that thing in control. I don't want to go out there and throw it all away right away. I want to go out there, ease into it, hopefully drive around some carnage and do some good things. So me as a driver, When I'm in the pits, everyone sees I'm this crazy guy, vocal, yelling at everyone, just having fun. When I get out on the track, I like to think that I'm a little more pulled back, reserved. I don't go smashing into people. I don't want to do that. When you have someone smash into you, there's always that thing that comes into your mind that, hey, if I just go back there and drill him, he won't do it again. The problem is, if you go back there and you drill him, then you wreck your equipment, and it's dangerous enough out there. I can't tell people enough, man. It is so dangerous. If you throw something like that into the mix, you're creating a bad environment for people to have fun. My goals this weekend are the same as every weekend. Have as much fun as I can and drive as well as I can. Try not to make big mistakes, because that's what slows you down. Go out there, do what I need to do. Don't let this thing screw it up. Have fun, enjoy myself so that I'm calm and relaxed in the truck, and then let the drive and speak for itself, and hopefully just fly by everybody.
Coming up, we ramp up the RPMs with BF Goodrich as they give us a first-hand look at finding the perfect setup to get on the top of the box. And later, the warriors of the Traxxas Off-Road Championship take to the track in an epic battle that's not to be missed. That's next on TORC Unleashed. As Mother Nature continues to hammer the track at ELDORA Speedway, the pros and their teams continue changing their strategies on tonight's big race. The perfect setup is crucial for a victory. And with this ever-changing track, the pros will need all the help they can get. And for some, that extra traction will come in the form of BF Goodrich.
We're out here at the Traxxas TORC Series. BF Goodrich is involved with short course racing for two different reasons. We're out here to win, out here to race. We're also out here to learn from our product. We bring out a specific race tire to the series. It kind of has a standard groove that comes to the track, and then we take each tire, specifically groove it for the track conditions, which track we're at, as well as driver preferences and truck setups.
Installing a tire is more complex than one may think. The forces generated by a 900 horsepower racing truck are extreme. As these trucks slide, spin, and land on edge, the proper tire installation is crucial for optimum performance. First, the inner liner. The inner liner is used to prevent failures in the event of a flat or blown tire. Next, a glue-based lubricant is applied to the bead of the tire and inner liner to assist installation. AMSOIL white lithium spray grease is used to prep the threaded bolt holes for the bead lock ring.
So the next time we take the bolts out, it's going to have a little bit of lubrication, and it cleans all the dirt that gets caught up in there during the race.
The bead is set by hand and locked into place using the bead lock ring.
Somewhat harder than others. This one's pretty easy. This is the bead lock. What it does, it holds the outside of the bead onto the wheel. What it does is initially it pinches it together.
All right, so the tires come in, they look like this. It's just a standard groove on the tire. They'll come in, we'll mount them up on the team's wheels. So after the tires are mounted, they'll come over here to the grooving area. The teams will work with our engineers and figure out which tread design is the best for the track condition and the truck setup, as well as driver preference. And each tire is specifically grooved for each driver, each team, and each truck.
The name of the game is traction. Tires are cut, grooved, and siped in multiple configurations to achieve the best performance possible.
So as I said before, we're out here to race to win, but we're also out here, we race to learn. And the data that we get from our race tires out there on the track eventually goes back to the office and ends up in the DOT tires that you put on your personal vehicles that you drive every day. So two of the DOT tires we have here, very popular, would be the Mud Terrain. Just as it's labeled, the Mud Terrain is specifically for off-road. It also has some highway capabilities for driving around, but mainly for off-road. And then we have the All-Terrain, just as again the name says, it's for all-terrain. You can do both a little off-roading as well as a little highway driving, and specifically designed for pretty much anything you want to do with your personal vehicle.
Next on Torque Unleashed, the green flag flies as the world's fastest off-road machines invade Dodge City. Torque Unleashed is brought to you by Traxxas, BF Goodrich, and by Red Bull.
Hi, I'm Kelly Snyder, and welcome back to Torque Unleashed. Well, the track is set and the fans are ready. There's just one thing left to say. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Saturday night, round 3, the Traxxas Torque Championship. After several hours of rain delays, the pros roll onto the track of ELDORA Speedway for a shot at podium glory. First up, Pro Buggy. As the green flag flies, Andy Zipperer jumps out to an early lead and begins to check out. Second place driver Luke Johnson inches his way lap by lap closer to race leader Zipperer. For Johnson, this marks his first year racing in the Pro Buggy class. Zipperer continues out front, but Johnson begins making a hard charge to the front. After the mandatory restart, Johnson and Zipperer now battle for first. Johnson pushes his motor beyond its limits and passes Zipperer to take the lead. As the checkered flag flies, Luke Johnson grabs the win, followed by Andy Zipperer in second and Scott Schwalbe in third. As the pro lights ready themselves to do battle on ELDORA Speedway, another storm reared its ugly head, raining down on an already soggy track. The track conditions have gotten worse, and these pro light drivers would have to reassess their strategy once again for the race to come. At the beginning of the race, sophomore driver Keegan Kincaid began muscling his way through the pack and eventually into first with a muddy trail of racers in tow. Olympian Nick Baumgartner struggled as the pro light trucks careened around every slick corner they encountered. At the checkered flag, Traxxas driver Keegan Kincaid captured the win, followed by Nick Baumgartner in second and Mark Kleeman in third. Next, the Pro 2s. These 900 horsepower machines rolled onto the track, ready to open the throttle and show the ELDORA crowd what they're all about. At the beginning of the race, CJ Greaves battled to the front and never looked back. Defending champion Bryce Menzies worked his Red Bull truck through the famed bank turns, desperately trying to catch Greaves' lead. Meanwhile, all-time winningest driver Rob McCachran challenged Menzies through the first few laps. As the race continued, Greaves led the pack through every muddy turn. McCachran fell back in the pack, but in the last few laps, muscled his way through the crowd back into third place. At the checkered flag, CJ Greaves takes the win, followed by Bryce Menzies in second, and Rob McCachran takes third. And finally, the Pro 4s. The top division of the Traxxas Off-Road Championship entered the arena, ready to do battle. As the green flag flies, AMSOIL driver Scott Douglas grabbed the early lead and began distancing himself from the rest of the pack. Several laps later, Douglas blows a tire, forcing the race leader into the pits for a quick tire change. Later, Mark Jenkins battles through turn 4 of ELDORA and quickly crashes into the fence, causing the yellow cautionary flag to fly, thus stopping the race until Jenkins' truck and debris were cleared from the track. As the race continued, an epic brawl began between Red Bull driver and returning champion Ricky Johnson and Monster Energy driver Johnny Greaves. Greaves took the early lead with an eager Johnson hot on his tail. In the final laps of the race, Greaves and Johnson continued battling for the lead. Turn 4, Greaves takes the turn wide, allowing Johnson a clean pass to the front of the pack. Greaves fought back and quickly regained the lead, only to lose it again to Johnson. At the checkered flag, returning champion Ricky Johnson takes the win, followed by Johnny Greaves in second and Scott Douglas in third.
Well, that does it for us here at ELDORA Speedway in New Weston, Ohio. I'm your host, Kelly Snyder, and I'll see you next time on TORC Unleashed.
On the next episode of TORC Unleashed, the Traxxas Off-Road Championship Series returns to the historic track of Bark River. With 3 rounds in the books, can current points leader Ricky Johnson continue leading the pack in the Pro 4s? Or will a new challenger dethrone the Red Bull driver? We'll find out on the next episode of TORC Unleashed.